and in your life. All right. Did everybody have a chance to grab the notes on the book? If not, I'll email them to you, but we're going to talk about this book about agency. But first, let's go around the room and just do a quick 30-second intro, who you are, what you do, and what brings you to wanting to grow personally and professionally with this free call that I offer every week. Hillary, I'm going to let you go first.
Why, thank you. So
You're welcome.
I'm Hillary Spivak, consultant with Arbonne, helping people flourish with sustainable, healthy living. And for me, it's about um, personal development in general, and then helping others to do the same thing, whether it's whatever it is. So I am always looking, well, I should say in my later years, in my recent years of 5 years, I've really been interested in personal development, whether it is personal, or professional, it all is interrelated. And it's all about relationships, whether it is your family, whether it is your person, whether it is your business. So I love people and helping people. So it's great to be here. And I'm zooming in from Utah right now.
Woohoo. And fully recovered, or how are you feeling?
So I'm not fully recovered, but I have a couple more weeks. I'll probably be here because I have at least one or two more doctor's appointments.
Okay. Well, I'm
And
glad you're
I feel so
back
good.
into the
So,
world.
oh my gosh. And I'm so glad I was here because my brother and sister-in-law are both physicians. So they were my advocates and it was amazing.
Good for you.
Thank
Yeah.
goodness.
It's all about relationships, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I had lots of support and I feel good.
Good for
Good.
you. Good for you.
Thank you for asking.
Awesome. Charlie, go next.
Hi. Hi. Listen, all of you have been lucky enough to land on a career, a passion, a calling uh, after an inflection point in your life. What I try to do is work with those people that are having a difficult time doing that. Oftentimes they seek you out for advice. I'm the one that you may send them to figure out what's next and how to get it, and more importantly, how to keep it. The story that most people are telling about themselves to get something is not the story that's selling. So they have to rethink, what should I be saying? What's my story? So I get what's next, I keep it, and I grow it. And that's what I try to help people do. And anybody you refer to me will get an hour of my time. I'll help them get some clarity around that subject. And they're going to be very grateful to you for the time that I gave them. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for you to elevate your preeminence in their mind's eye.
Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Gab.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Gab De Luna. I'm all the way from the Philippines. So what I do is I do marketing strategy for course creators, for coaches and consultants. And I'm here because I'm interested in anything about growth and learning. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I'm not used to this actually. I've been doing these calls for, I don't know, 3 weeks now. Suzanne was my second call ever. And what I'm doing right now is I'm out of my comfort zone right now. I really am. So I'm an extreme introvert all my life. For the past decade, I've been working with my company internally. I've always avoided networking. I've always avoided talking to other people. But now I'm doing this because I know I'm gonna learn, I'm gonna grow, and I'm gonna benefit not only me but also my business. So I'm just trying to get used to it. I'm trying to give value to the people I meet, and that's how I'm treating it now. And I hope I can give value to tonight or this morning on your
Well,
end.
I just want to say you're doing a great job. It's been a pleasure to see you in some of my other communities. So to have you here in my event is awesome. Thank you so much. And I'm so happy
Appreciate that.
that you had a good experience with the first couple people that you chose to have one-on-one Zooms with. I'm so happy that I was one of them.
Yeah.
And just, I love what you're doing, and I'm happy to continually push you just a little bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So anytime, my friend, anytime.
Yeah,
Appreciate
you're
it.
good at
Appreciate
that.
Yeah. Nolan, welcome. Can you talk to us this morning?
Yes, I can. I don't have a camera right now.
Okay.
I'm about to head out. But I'm Nolan Chappelle. I'm a fledgling entrepreneur. I just got an idea for something that I want to do to help my community and help the friends and the businesses that they have. So I'm kind of in week one, doing a lot of the planning and getting things in order and trying to figure out exactly what the ins and outs are. But yeah, I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to take some agency in my own life.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. I am going to share my screen today since you guys don't have the notes for this book in front of you. But let me explain the whole notes thing. If you like to hack your learning like I do, I love to read, I love to know about books. And the coach I worked with for about 3 years, Brian Johnson, has this immense database of information on his website that he used to charge $10 a month for. That's how I originally found him. And it is now all free. So I would encourage you to go to optimize.me and sign up for a free account. It is where I get most of my book summaries from. And I'll tell you what book summaries have done for me. There's numerous websites that have book summaries. I think Charlie has a reference for two references. I love Learn It For Me. But Brian's notes, and I'm going to show you the notes on this book today. I love the way he breaks it down to the 10 big ideas of each book that he reads. Like, it's the same format every time. And one of the things I like about personal growth and reading and encouraging other people to do that is getting that done quicker. And I've been able to do that with these notes. They're about 6 pages. I used to print them and read them at nighttime before bed because I didn't want to be on electronics at night before bed. And one of the things I found when I would travel or at nighttime, I'm reading and digesting a whole entire book before going to bed. Then going on vacation, if I was away for 7 days, I'd bring 7 notes with me. And so it was like a vacation where I read 7 books. That doesn't happen, but it started to happen because I was using this shortened format. This book in particular that we're going to talk about today, here's what the note looks like. The book is called The Power of Agency. This book is from 2019. Paul Napper and Anthony Rao. They're both, they do amazing content online. So either of them, if you follow, they do some great content about reducing anxiety and building that agency. And here's the structure of the notes, which is really cool. Starts out with his Brian's favorite quote from the book, which is highlighted there first. There's tons of quotes in the sidebar. And then here's the big ideas right here from the book. And so you can get an idea of what's the concept of this book. Now, look at it, building agency versus reducing anxiety. The 7 principles for building agency, controlling stimuli, which to me, that's controlling your triggers. Maybe that's a trigger that makes you overeat, drink alcohol, not sleep well. The mirror in your brain, and energize to agency. So eat, moving, and sleeping to energize yourself. Whew, well, right up my alley. So I'm going to read this, right? And as you look through the 6-page summary, he's going to address each one of the big ideas. And first, I'd like to take questions about agency or insights that you have about building agency versus reducing anxiety. because I really feel like, especially after the last 2 years of our existence here with COVID, I think everyone's anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, whether it's anxiety about health and wellness or money or the economy, I think everybody could use a little bit more agency and reduce that anxiety. So open up the floor, take it away, jump in. What do you have to say?
So I'm going to say that I printed out the two from the last, so I missed the last couple of weeks, but from the last meeting before I got sick,
Mhm.
I printed both of those out for my airplane ride and for to be here.
Love
So,
that. Love that.
oh my gosh. And I read one of them and now I'm going to read the other, but for you just to remind us of that, I think is
Mhm.
amazing. Like 6 days, 6 books is great.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I would say building agency, like personally inside, is I take time for me every morning.
Mhm.
And one of the things I've done while I'm here is watch the sunrise. So I get up at 6, walk outside, and sit just with me and watch the sunrise. And then once the sunrise hits, then I read my passage from a book that I have that's like something every day that's motivational, and then do my gratitude journal.
Mm. And how has that helped you reduce anxiety in general?
It starts your day off when I think when you do things for yourself, you're not running. Like I used to run to a job and get up at 4:30, leave my house at 5. Like, and it's like when you go, 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 your body's stressed by that. There's
Mhm.
not that. So it just feels so good to be able to have my body like be calm first thing in the morning. And I think it really makes a difference in what the rest of your day will be like.
Mm. Well, I think it helps with that. Part of agency is having that inner calm, that inner peace about not allowing fight or flight to
And
kind of
I'm
take
good at fight
over.
or flight, right? I'm
Mm,
good at,
me
I'm
too. Sign me up.
like, so Gab, I'm the opposite of you. I'm like extrovert, run, 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 go, go, go. And it used to be looked upon as that go, go, go was a good thing. Well, it's not for, it's not good for so many things. So
Mm.
it's,
Right.
I think it's sometimes extra hard for personalities like that to like be calm and take care of our bodies, so that everything else can flow and be better. So it takes a lot of work. But then you build that habit. I've been doing it for years now, since COVID, every morning, 2 hours for me first.
Love that.
Wow. Wow.
Good job, Hillary.
Hey, Suzanne, Hillary may benefit from the thing that uh, Doctor talked about the other night.
Yes. Yes. I was actually going to tag you in that, Hillary. My coach conversations this month, um, my mentor, Dr. Dorothy Martin Neville, spoke about energy and how you show up. So your not your energy level, but your your personal vibration, and that how do you show up in the world. And she talked a lot about how physical issues can manifest in your energy field and how you show up. And with your recent stint in the hospital and, physical injury, right? Um, because of where it is on your body, that can affect communication, energy in your speaking and, connecting with other people, just because physically something was misaligned or disconnected. It was fascinating. She did
It
such a great
sounds
job.
amazing. And
So
it's interesting. My last conversation right before this with somebody in Arbonne who called to check in on me, we
mhm,
talked about too that because of everything that I've gone through, my energy is different in such a good way. So it's not so frantic
mhm,
because it makes you look at things so differently. So we have
yeah,
to look at like all the good things that come out of this, not so fun.
yeah,
And I am embracing that. And I think that if
Good for you.
I mean, we're all going to be impacted in life. We can't change the impact, but are we prepared for the impact? And I have to say, I was so prepared for this that it was so much better than it could have been.
mm,
Hillary, since you're into performance and helping people improve, you have a whole different point of view now on this whole thing that you can bring into your conversations with your clients. because, it's like you went through a door and you're seeing things from a different point of view
Mhm.
Definitely.
because you went through the whole thing. So, you've grown. And, it's a shame that one has to go through pain and suffering to get there, but you're coming out the other end. There's a great story there, Hillary, a great
Yeah.
story that you can share with people.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think Dr. Dorothy was going to share with me her book
Right.
in a PDF form. So I'll make sure I send it to you as well as the other attendees from last week, about the places in your body that hold pain, stiffness, injury, and how you're showing up, how that translates. And one of the things she suggested to do, and I do this a lot with my clients in their business, is a timeline of their journey. And, you just draw a line on a piece of paper, break it up into 5 or 10-year increments, depending on how old you are. The older you are, you can use bigger increments. Charlie, me,
I know.
we can use those 10-year increments, right? But if
Hey.
you're a little younger, like Nolan, he should use 5-year increments.
You got a lot to look forward to, Gab.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
And
Yeah.
doing that timeline, above the line, put your physical issues that you've had throughout your life, and below the line, what type of illnesses have you had? Like, what was going on in your life at that time? So my first physical injury was a knee injury, and it was my right knee. So what was happening in my life at that time? A boyfriend broke up with me. I was 16, first boyfriend, devastated. Right leg is moving forward in life. Right knee gets injured. I'm not moving forward with him anymore. Isn't that interesting? And putting those things together over the years, over your lifetime, you can start to see how the death of a parent, and 4 months later, you're having some issue or some physical manifestation of that grief. Fascinating
So
discovery.
that's so interesting because my mother passed away a month ago.
Wow.
And my camera all of a sudden has made me all washed out. There we go.
Yep.
Look, I just went like that and it fixed it.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. Her energy changed it.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So developing agency, I'm going to share my screen again and share these 7 principles with you. And these 7 principles are really high performance habits. They are personal growth. They are a lot of the work I do with my clients. And let's look at them briefly. Controlling stimuli. So that's that digital minimalism that I talk about so often, controlling the amount of emails, controlling social media exposure. Those things, once you take control of them in your life, boundaries, your energy improves because you've taken agency over that. You're not just operating on autopilot through those things and letting stimuli control your thoughts and emotions.
Right.
Number 2, look at that one. Surrounding yourself with healthy, empathetic, open-minded, candid, supportive people. Now we all know, how many of us know that who we hang out with makes a difference, right? But yet we all still have those people in our lives that we allow into our energy who might not improve your overall health and well-being emotionally. Business, let's even look at business wise. Do you allow people to take your time? Moving, of course, that's your fitness aspect. Positioning yourself as a learner. Well, you can see why I love agency so much, right? These are all the qualities, the values, the morals of my business. And if you're saying the same thing, wow, we definitely should hang out more, right? Now, let's look at managing your emotions and belief, cultivating that self-awareness. That's where I want to talk a little bit today. Anybody have any insights on what happens when you follow and manage your emotions and beliefs in your business?
Well, beliefs are the foundation for your values
Mhm.
and your principles. So if you're not in tune with, well, just for the group, I share an exercise with all my clients. I call it the belief list. And usually it's they start with, well, I believe in God, or I believe in marriage, or that's great. But the more I push on them, they get down to the nub of what really, really, really matters to them in their life, their real values, what they really, really stand for. They may say one thing, but all of a sudden I have to help them discover that, wait a minute,
Mhm.
maybe that's not it, because your values cause you to relate to certain people, to select certain clients to work with. And we have to get very clear about what they are, because they trigger emotions, which triggers passions, which triggers purpose. So anyway, I just throw that out to the group.
Well, I love that. And I did that work with Charlie. And I want to say that um, taking those, belief statements that were in my head that I always thought, but I not necessarily said out loud, they're now on my about page of my website. So you read my belief statements before you get to my bio on my
Right.
about page.
Yeah.
And I think standing in that brought me a new level of agency, aka confidence in myself, because now I'm saying, I believe.
Right.
And if you believe, schedule a call.
It gives you a point of connection with people,
Mhm.
because we want to work with people that are relevant, adjacent to what we're about, not people my job is not to convert people.
Yes. Yeah.
And many of us are missionaries trying to convert people to our particular point of view, and we get frustrated. We have to find people that are leaning into what we're doing, and what can we do to draw them to us, right?
Mhm.
So people come to Hillary because they want a franchise experience, they want to be their own boss, those kind of things. But not everybody's right for Hillary, and Hillary's not right for everybody. But
Oh,
unless you know what you believe and what you're looking for, you're going to end up with some bad clients and maybe some bad situations.
well, so it's also
That's what I found for me.
so what you're saying is attract those people who believe what you believe, and realistically that's repel the ones that don't. Go ahead, Hillary, just unmute.
I'm also trying to get my face back. Like I'm all
Yeah.
whited out. I
Yeah.
remember I did that before and it
Yeah.
worked. So,
Yeah.
but I also want to, like, I totally agree with what Charlie's saying, and belief in yourself um, translates to your energy to other people,
Mhm.
belief in your business, belief in yourself. And also we just had a training about this. We're not in the convincing business. There are millions of people out there. If this one person is not interested in what you're doing, there are millions of other people that are.
Right.
And that's okay. And not to take it personally. It's just like when you go to a store, you don't always buy something when someone says, can I help you? And they're
Mhm.
not getting upset that you didn't buy anything.
Right.
And I think we have to think about that for ourselves. And if we continue that belief and that energy, the right people will be there for you.
Agreed.
Right. Yep. Yep. Because
And
it's consistent. What you're saying and what you're doing are then consistent,
mm,
right? And that's what people see. I oftentimes will read somebody's website or read their LinkedIn, and then when I meet with them, there's a disconnect. Wait a minute, that doesn't seem to be the same person, and that I have to tell them the impact that has on me and their credibility in my eyes. If I'm getting two different pictures, and we're trying to create a connection between us, and if I'm not getting a clear picture of who you are, that's a problem.
Oh, Charlie, I just had an idea for a great post for you on social media. Um, do you did you used to lie or stretch the truth on your dating profile online?
Still do. Yeah, just joking.
No, I
I,
don't.
I don't want my wife to find out about it.
No, I mean asking other people if they
Oh,
used to like
okay.
stretch the truth, like, oh, I'm 6'2". No, you're not. You're 5'7".
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's a problem people
yeah,
have of who am I versus who do I think I should be? That's that
correct.
conflict that we all have within ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And this whole thing that Hillary's going through is she's learning more about herself from this experience. It's forcing her,
yeah.
to really have private time with herself. And she's got a great routine in the morning where she's going inward, and the universe is
Mhm.
speaking to her and letting her know this is what you're all about. And it's going to different people are going to show up in your life, Hillary, that you can help, and you're going to say, "Where? How the hell did this happen?" It's
Yeah.
just that you become more knowledgeable about yourself, and it radiates from you.
And I think we can also choose how we deal with situations. Like I said earlier, how we're always impacted, but we can choose our attitude about it too. If we can't change the situation, at least we can have an attitude that's helpful.
Right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. It's a choice.
Yeah, that's that emotional intelligence piece that's so needed as an entrepreneur, right? If we have that piece of being aware of those things, it just makes your confidence go through the roof, and it makes other people feel confident in what you're doing and saying. Um, the last two, um, checking your intuition. Um, I would say learning to access intuition or trusting the intuition that I always had was probably the single most powerful thing I've ever done when it comes to interactions with other people. Um, and that wasn't developed during my coaching career. That was developed in my dental hygiene career, patient after patient after patient after patient, 40 hours a week, new person every hour, right here, right in front of me to talk to connect to alleviate fears in, to sell something to. And it was just practice. So, practicing that intuition piece is key. So, I'd like to play a little game with intuition right now, if you guys are up for it. Are you up for it?
I'll have to check my intuition first.
What'd you say, Charlie?
I have to check my intuition first.
All right.
There we
So,
go. I'm back.
oh, there she is.
There she is.
I put my hands in front of the screen again and it worked. I don't know why it does that. It's crazy.
It's your energy, woman. It's your energy. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, you're powerful. All right, so let's close our eyes. And now, truthfully, keep your eyes closed. And let's use our intuition. Everybody come off mute. Now, we've been in this room for a little over 15 minutes, maybe 20 something minutes. I didn't look at that before I closed my eyes. And who remembers what color glasses Hillary is wearing?
Pink. I do.
Go ahead. What color, Charlie?
Pink.
Okay, Gab, what did you say?
Yes, pink.
Awesome. Okay, and color shirt that Gab is wearing today.
Light blue.
Very good. Color shirt that I'm wearing today.
Gray.
Very good. Okay. So feeling a little bit more confident with what we remember about the room. Now, standing in awareness of your emotions right now, I want you to take an intuitive guess as to the color of my house?
Inside or outside?
Outside.
Gray.
Very
Yeah,
good.
I agree with that. Thank you, Ray.
Very good. Let's
I was
take it
gonna say white.
in white. It's a little white, but mostly gray. Let's take an intuitive guess about the color of Charlie's house.
Light brown.
I was
I was
gonna
gonna
say
say,
Yeah,
tan.
me too. Brown.
Tan.
Brown.
So it's brick.
Mm,
So that's close. That's close to light brown.
very good. Let's take an intuitive guess as to Nolan's height. Nolan's height.
5'11".
6'2".
It's 5'11", dead accurate.
Okay, you can open your eyes.
Was it
We're all the-
5'11"?
Yeah.
Good for
can't-
you.
Wait, so, but you have to guess the color of my house.
Oh, your house.
Pink.
Pink?
Pink.
It starts with P. It starts with P.
Purple.
I would
Wow.
never guess that.
Bright purple.
I guess it's a type of light blue.
Yeah. Wow. Was that by choice when you bought, or was that the color when you bought it?
So I rent it and they picked it. So it's got
there you
green, it's bright purple with green trim.
How about that? Wow.
Wow.
And now it's got accents of pink.
Yeah.
It does, because I have pink flowers on the porch.
There you go. Good.
Yeah.
Good. 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 You know, the beauty of the beauty.
Perfect
The
match.
beauty of Zoom was we're all the same size on Zoom.
I know.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, some of us.
a very democratic platform.
Well, it's so funny when you meet people in person too. So I would love to, well, I guess, Gab, we're not going to meet you in person anytime soon, but if you're ever in the
Yeah.
States, we'd love to meet you.
Yep.
But it's just so funny, like certain people, like,
Yeah.
and I mean, I'm 5'0", so it's kind of fun, I
Yeah.
think.
Whoa.
Yeah. I'm 5'2". So
I'm shrinking.
I'm shrinking.
I think I grew and
There you
half an
go.
inch. Mhm.
There
They
we go.
stretched your neck out.
I know.
Love it. All right. Well, final point I want to hit about agency is be deliberate in your actions. So, being deliberate, how does that help your business? So, being deliberate and taking action. What does that mean to you in your business?
Well, I make less mistakes. So if I'm rushing to get a lot of emails out to people by being deliberate, I'm not calling Mary Marion,
Mm,
right?
mhm.
I'm not saying we're going to meet on Wednesday when we agreed it was Tuesday. Just being very deliberate and pacing yourself to get, because we all want to get it done and get on to the next thing. That's how we're wired. And just being very deliberate, having I mean, even to the point, it may sound weird, but having a checklist, you go through the checklist before you leave the house to make sure that you have all the things you want to take with you, so that when you're in a car, you say, forgot that done. Something that simple, being
Yeah.
deliberate, having a system in which you work. That's not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength, because that means you're freeing up more time for other people.
I love that.
Right. If I'm running around looking for my keys, I'm wasting time. But if I put them in the same place at the same time, and it's the last thing I do before I walk out the door, I'm being deliberate. I have a process. Just like Hillary has the process in the morning. She does this, she does that, she does this, she does that. And it just becomes a habit, and she doesn't have to think about it.
In my
I like that
business,
too.
yeah.
That's it reminds me of what I got going on today. I have a bunch of things going on, but it's in a specific order where I'm looking one type of way, and I have my clothes set out. So as soon as I get home, I can quick change and then fly over to my next meeting. So it's really important to like have a good idea of what you got going on for the day, making a plan, and then just following it through.
Yeah.
I agree totally. And in my business, like the action part is all of it. And sometimes we get afraid because what are people going to think? And not making that call doesn't get you anywhere. Making the call and maybe getting a no is okay because at least you made the call, and then it gets you motivated maybe to do the next and the next. And the other thing too is what you were talking about, Charlie, is having your list. I find, and there's been research too, that if you make your list at night of your things to do the next day, your brain's already working on them.
That's right.
So subconsciously. So it's so good, I think, to at the end of the day, and then also get it off your mind so you're not thinking about it and you can sleep better.
Right. So Dan Sullivan, his plan is he sits down and he before he goes to bed, he writes down the 3 things that he accomplished. And then the next thing tomorrow, what are the 3 things I want to accomplish tomorrow? So he's feeling grateful for what he accomplished. And now his mind's working on those 3 things he has to do tomorrow. He says he's been doing it forever and it works. So, I have no reason to doubt the man.
It reminds me of the book Eat That Frog. Has anybody read
Brian,
that?
yeah, Brian Tracy, yeah.
Yep.
It's a little different than kissing a lot of frogs. It's a little different story. A little different. Same idea.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
And in my experience being, go ahead.
Go ahead, Gab.
Go, it's yours.
Okay. Yeah. In my experience, being deliberate also gives a sense of calm and clarity to my team. When they see me not running around with my head on fire, being deliberate, having a system, it also gives them the sense of calm. Whatever's happening in the business, whether we lose a client or we lose a teammate, if they see me that, okay, we've been here before, we have a process for this, then let's just execute, like what Hillary said, just action. Action is what's left, and they see you being calm and being deliberate. It gives them clarity, and it makes them execute better.
Yeah. Anything else to add on that?
Well, what about you, Suzanne? What about deliberate in your life?
Well, I think coming from healthcare, everything I used to do was a deliberate process or SOP or, a checklist. And I followed the same routine, patient after patient after patient. You do this first, this second, this third, this fourth. This way you never miss anything. And one of the things that I resisted when I transitioned careers was doing that. I wanted freedom from all of that. I don't want to follow a checklist. I don't want to follow a procedure. And I took it to the extreme until I realized I'm not getting anything done. I'm not being as effective as I could with my time. So I think for me, it was about realizing that it was a good thing. It wasn't a limiting thing. I might have been bored with my previous career and the repetitive nature of it, but the structure of it makes sense. Just like a pilot with a pre-flight checklist. He never skips it. So it's definitely helped to get back to those basics for sure. One of the things that I did with this coach, Brian, when I was with him, was he had you create your life algorithms. That's what he called them. And these are if this, then that statements about your life and your business. If I meet a new person in a networking group, I connect with them on LinkedIn, send them a follow-up email, and then invite them to have a one-on-one. That's that. So it was a way for me to create those processes without feeling like I was on a medical checklist. But it's also life. If I wake up, which hopefully I wake up tomorrow, I do my morning routine.
Right.
And not letting myself out of that. It kind of, if I'm feeling anxious, I do extra meditation. If I'm feeling hungry, I eat something healthy. It's helped to decide who you
Yeah,
want to.
that reminds me of what, I don't know if you're familiar with Jocko Willink.
Yes.
He's a former
Yeah.
Navy SEAL. Yeah, he talks about this a lot, right? About discipline. People give discipline a bad name. They say it's too restricting, to hell with rules. But discipline gives you freedom, according to him, and I believe that, and I've seen that in my life. Um, because it gives you all this free time, right? If you are methodical, if you have routines, and I'm a big believer in routines and rituals, just like Hillary and all of everyone here. But I was the opposite of Hillary. I'm the exact opposite. They say that you want something you don't want. You always want what you don't have, right? So for me, it's not about anxiety. It's about procrastination. Always, all my life. It's finding that energy. It's trying to get off my ass, and do the work. So what gave me freedom is the discipline and being deliberate and having that routine in the morning. I do this at this time, I do this next, and then it gives me the freedom to. It opens up my day, to do whatever I need to do. Mhm.
Hey, Gab, that'd be a great post, Gab.
Yeah.
What you just said, a short one,
Yeah.
not a long one, not a long one, but what I've learned, and then you just go through 3 or 4 of the things you just said. That should get you a lot of feedback from people, right?
I would think.
Right.
Yeah, short and sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for that idea. I'm
Yeah.
taking notes now.
Yeah. All right. Where I want to wrap up today is the part of agency about hanging out with other people. So in the book, they talk a lot about associating selectively and how it can up your agency and up your confidence and up your just personal life satisfaction. And here's the research behind it, which I love research behind things. So moods can spread among people just like COVID. Study at Harvard was done, looked at data from a 20-year study and took the social networks of almost 5,000 people, and it's called the Framington Heart Study. The research followed people from 1983 to 2003. The results found that for every happy friend in your network, your chance of being happy increases by 9%. For every unhappy person, your chance of being happy decreases by 7%.
Wow.
So happiness, as well as unhappiness, is essentially shared and spread. So that means that all of those happy emotions, joy, fulfillment, personal satisfaction, confidence, they all fall under happiness. They're defined as happy emotions. So let's think about that for a second. And if you have happy friends in your network and your own chance of happiness, fulfillment, life satisfaction, all of those things goes up by 9%. Hang out with people with high happiness, satisfaction, confidence, all of those positive emotions.
Do you
That
have
goes
that?
back to that. Go ahead, Hillary. Go ahead.
Suzanne, do you have that somewhere in a summary that you could
It's
share?
it's in the book summary.
And the one we're talking about now.
Yes.
Awesome. I
The
love
one
that.
you're gonna email us, right?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's also in the members area under the newsletter tab, and I'll share the recording from today
That's fine.
as well. Um,
That study reminds me of a saying that a famous sales guy said that you are the total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, or something like that.
Yeah, I think that was Jim Rohn.
There
And
you go.
it also makes a difference in your income as well. The 5 people that
Yep.
you are around they're going to be is the average income that you'll
That
also have.
reminds me of his in his rise to fame and success. Tony Robbins was able to get a seat at a table with Warren Buffett. It was a breakfast, and he introduced himself to Mr. Buffett. You may not know. He says, "I know who you are, Tony. Yeah, I've followed your career. This is great. How can I be of help, Mr. Buffett? I want to be just like you." And he says, "Well, thank you. I'm flattered by that." And he's eating, and he paused. He said, "Tony, who do you hang out with?" "Oh, Mr. Buffett." And he started naming all these famous people. And he says, "That's your problem." He said, "What? If you want to be like me, you have to hang out with billionaires. Those people are not billionaires." So it's a very succinct way of saying that,
Yeah.
at different stratas, talk about different things. I talk to people about this all the time. If you're not used to talking to executives, you're not going to be that successful with executives, right? So you got to befriend executives so that you understand how they think, how they talk, et cetera. Because the things that interest their subordinates are not going to interest them. Same kind of thing.
I think it goes back to that we're mostly water as humans, and water seeks its own level. So if you're going to elevate yourself, being around the people that you want to be at or the level you want to be at definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, hey, that's great, Nolan. I like that.
Water also has a vibration, and it absorbs vibration from its environment. We've all seen
Interesting.
that, right?
Mhm.
Take a cup of water and hit it with a pen. What happens? It moves. It has a vibration in it. So it makes sense, right? That we're affected by the people that we hang out with. I was in a Zoom meeting last week, a new group that I've been a part of for about 3 months. And there was a breakout room, and it was myself and 3 people I had never met before. No problem. I do that all the time. And one of the girls, absolutely lovely. She does financing for small businesses. Oh, I want to meet her, right? Like that's a perfect person for me. Business credit. Then the other guy was a financial advisor who I had never met before, but he's pretty well connected in my network. Awesome. The third guy would not come on camera. Monopolized the conversation. No offense, Nolan. No big deal. No, he would not come on camera and was interrupting everyone to get more time to talk about himself. Didn't ask any questions. And I thought, wow, if this guy was at a party and acting like this, I would walk away. So why am I sitting here in this Zoom room? And then he comes out with, I asked him very politely, I said, well, I feel like connecting with people, you really have to be on camera. You have to have eye contact. You have to, see body language, that kind of stuff. And he said, I don't come on camera in case there's children around. I don't want to be accused of being a pedophile.
That is bizarre.
Very bizarre.
And that
Time for
also
me to
says a
leave
lot
the
about-
room.
So guess what? That means there's something going on with him
Yes.
totally internally that he thinks he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would be leaving that
That's
room
the guy.
immediately.
That's the guy. Yeah, that's the guy Donnie kicked out.
Yes.
Right? I was in that call.
Yes.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
Yes.
crazy,
kicked out.
Suzanne.
So
Yeah,
I left
how to tell on yourself, right?
I left the breakout room. I messaged the other 2 people in the room, like, peace out. I'm out. That's enough. I've had it with this guy. I went back to the main session with those other 2 people, and we reported it, and he got kicked out of the Zoom. He got blocked on Alignable. He got blocked on LinkedIn. And It was the most unique experience I've ever had. But it really made me think, if this was happening in the real world, like at a party, what would I do?
Leave
Leave.
immediately. And if there's
Yep,
any
that's
children
right.
around, grab them all, even if you don't know them.
Yes, right?
And take them with you.
Now I'm gonna offer a different point of view.
Yeah, go ahead.
It comes out of the very first chapter of 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. You may have heard the story. Stephen Covey's on a subway train in New York City. It's early in the morning. He's going to work or doing something, and the train stops, the doors open, and in comes the father with about 4 or 5 kids. And they sit down on the train. And the kids are going crazy. They're jumping up and down, running up and down the aisles. They're crazy. And finally, he says, the guy says, "Hey, can you do something about this, dude?" And he says, "Yeah, they're a little upset. Their mom just died in the hospital." So again, sometimes it's a cry for help. Sometimes it's offensive. But if you went online and you wiped them off all social media based on one experience, what would you think if people did that to you if they misunderstood you? Just a thought.
Mhm.
Just a thought, because I get all this, we all get this crap stuff on LinkedIn about, hey, and I need LinkedIn for business, right? And if somebody says this Charlie guy, because believe me, I have been 20 plus years ago, I was almost put out of business by people that I had fired who wanted to get retribution. And I lost $500,000 at least over a course of 6 months based on the stuff that they were posting online, which is totally not true. Totally not true. And it was anonymous, so nobody knew who they were. I didn't know who they were at the time. But my point is, I'm very sensitive about that. I really want to. I'm like Merrick Garland. I want it to be bulletproof before I bring an indictment.
Well, I would say blocking someone personally so they can't connect with you or send you messages is different than, reporting. So this is personal preference. I don't want to hang out with people like
Okay,
that.
okay. I'm not criticizing. I'm just throwing out an idea. That's all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Throwing
totally
out an
agree.
idea.
Totally agree.
Yeah, I think there are times and place, like if you should definitely be able to speak on your experience, because if you don't want to hurt someone's reputation based on one experience,
Right.
how many times do they get to make those impressions on other people? Like if like what Suzanne's saying, it's kind of like a pattern of behavior. It wasn't like, oh, he's just talking over everyone, block him. Oh, he's doing this, he's interrupting. It's like, and then he also has ridiculous comments as well. It's like, okay, maybe this person isn't fit for this group. I'm gonna at least voice my opinion, and maybe the moderators, whatever, they maybe have had several complaints from several different people, and then they can make their decision that way. But I definitely believe you should speak up and speak on your experiences to help end those patterns that can continue to take place if you don't.
I agree with you, Nolan. I agree with you.
Yeah. And
But we shouldn't be
blocking,
trying to sabotage other people's businesses. I completely get that as well.
totally.
Yeah.
I've had experiences with clients in the past who decided that coaching was not for them after they received the coaching and wanted their money back. Well, that's interesting. Do you go and get your hair cut and you don't like the haircut and you get your money back? Maybe. And it's definitely sparked some interesting conversations. But as far as who you want to hang out with, I don't want to hang out with somebody like that.
Yeah, true. I agree.
Yeah.
I do have to run, you guys. I appreciate the conversation.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us today. And thanks for being here, everyone.